Thanks to Professor Jean-Pierre Dupont and to Professor Jean-Luc and to English. I'm glad to be here. I've been a teacher for quite a long time, but yesterday I realized that it's just half of my professional career, so I've not been a teacher for quite a long time. A teacher in basic schools and secondary schools and a teacher education in a Polytechnic Institute, which is part of the Portuguese higher education system. So I really miss the academic environment. That's why I'm so glad to be here. I hope that you understand my seminar in English. It's not proper English, but we will do our best. We at the National Council of Education, we try to, in a way, to shape the future, to try to understand the future in order to give advice to the government and to the parliament about education, in order to try to get or to provide a better future to our children. But my problem is, if we have a predictable future, if we can guess the future, because many times the future is a little bit uncertain. Maybe we have 100 years between these two pictures, or these two. On the other hand, I've received today this image on my LinkedIn, and OECD is telling us that the skills, say the competences, I'd say the combination between knowledge and skill are the currency of the 21st century. So that means, in this sense, education gets an even more important role in our society. And we need to try to understand better the unpredictable future. So this could be the introduction of my talk here, although it will be a little bit harder talk. With maybe a lot of data, a lot of information. Maybe after 1 hour you will be just bored and thinking that what's this guy telling us here. But if you feel that, please raise your hand and tell me, and I will move to a more friendly approach. I will tell you a few words about the National Council of Education, the Conselho Nacional de Educação. I will spend 5 minutes on the structure of the Portuguese education system, and then we will look more or less in depth to some indicators of our system performance, if you could say that, and then a few closing thoughts and coming back to close down to the unpredictable future. So the National Council of Education. The National Council of Education is quite an amazing organization. There are several councils in Europe, but we have a council that tries to combine social participation, representation from society, and expertise, experts that are members of the council. So the membership is really diverse, and this diversity means or represents the source of independence of the Council, because we are an independent body, where the President of the Council is elected by the Parliament. There is no hierarchical dependence from the government or from the President of the Republic, whatsoever. Is an independent personality that is elected as President of the Council. So this election of the President is also a source of independence. What we do is to produce advice and recommendation to the government and to the Parliament. And we have a very interesting power that is identified there as the right of initiative, which is also a source of independence. That means if the government sets a new law or releases a new law and the minister decides not to ask the council about the law or about the implications or whatever, the council may say, you don't ask, but I will say, I will have something, I will tell you something about this. I will tell the world, I mean the Portuguese world that is interested in that, about that. There are our main products are like this here. We publish a report every year on the state of education, and most of the data that I bring here to you are from that report. It's a report that tries to identify several important indicators about the system, the educational system in Portugal, and we try to discuss those indicators in a distant way. I mean, we don't get involved in the sense that we should be this, that, or should do that. No, in that report it's just a kind of a picture. It's not an advice in its terms, in its fundamental terms. Then we have advices, and our advices have nowadays have a document that is the advice itself. I mean, for politicians to read. So it should not be a long document, should not be a long text. They like it short and simple to make decisions and so. But we have another document that's part of the advice, but it's not voted in the council. That we call it the technical report. That uses data, studies the matter, collects the available evidence, and is also published with the advice. And then we produce some studies, bit of research, I would say, on several topics. This one, this example is on the groups, the size of the classes in the classroom, the groups of students, the size of those groups. It was a big discussion in Portugal. There were negotiations about that. And then it was funny because they were negotiating on the basis of nothing at all. And then we published our study, and the negotiations were closed up because there was something on to look at and to base the arguments and the different positions. I mean, I have a responsibility here. These are similar institutions all over Europe, not all, but over Europe, similar institutions, and we have a network that is EUNEC, the European Network of Education Councils. EUNEC, when we commemorated the 10th anniversary, we have published a book. It was a study carried out by the University of Leuven in Belgium. It's a study that tries to look at the councils all over Europe. And that it was funny because they identified, for example, me or the others that work in councils like those as frontier workers. That's the one that works in the margins of the politics or social work or education. You know, these frontiers, these very loose barriers between the different fields. It's a very interesting book. Okay, that's enough for the concept. The Portuguese education system. I believe you, I don't know if you can see properly, but look at the bars on the top. That's the important thing. So the numbers are the age of the students. So up to 3, we have nursery school, okay? And then 3 to 6, we have preschool. And then, very important, because I want to talk about it later on, the first 4 years, we call it the first cycle of basic education. First cycle of basic education. And then we have this singular, we have this singular thing that we have the second cycle of basic education, which that represents a huge change for the kids, for the children, because we have a first cycle, 4-year, 1 teacher, integrated knowledge, okay? And then you change, when you are 10, you change to the second cycle, and you have maybe 7 teachers, 7 subjects, not so integrated knowledge. It's quite a huge change at that point. When you look at the European systems, you have an extended primary school for 5 or 6 years. Okay, we don't have that. We have a primary that ends at 10, and then the second cycle of basic education between 10 and 11, and then the third cycle of basic education, that's the lower secondary school in other European countries. I understand that there are people from South America here, but I hope you understand that most of my examples are from Europe, okay? Sorry about that. Then the third cycle that goes up to 15, and then the secondary education up to 18, and then university. Of course, in secondary school, you have different approaches, different routes. You will see that later on. Different approaches, different routes, different possibilities. In university, in higher education, you have also different possibilities. You have universities, you have polytechnics, you have courses that lead you to a degree, and courses that might not lead you to a degree, that are a kind of professional courses, just 2 years in the polytechnics. That's the test in Portugal, we call them tests. So this is our system, briefly. I have another diagram, but I think I will jump in. It's a little bit more detailed. But that's the same, that's the essential thing. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Portuguese situation in terms of these 3 points. Demography, what's happening in our society, enrollment, do our youth, do they go to school? Are they enrolled up to 18? Because an important information about the Portuguese system. Compulsory education in Portugal now is up to 18. It's not a target in terms of conclusion of secondary education or whatsoever. No, you have to be at school up to 18. At school or in any other form of training, not only education. Enrollment in the table. What kind of conclusion can we achieve? So demography. That's a huge problem. This is the entry in the educational system in the first grade. 5 and 6 years old. So they are going down, and this has an impact, a very strong impact in the other cycles, because first year of primary school, look at the numbers, it's almost 20,000 less, okay? And then it will impact after 3 years, after 4 years, and it will arrive at university. So the educational system cannot ignore these. On the other hand, there are other social problems, of course. You can think about the population getting older and older, so a lot of retired people and less youth, which is, of course, a problem. This could be solved if the Portuguese have more children. I've contributed already. At 3. If the Portuguese have more children, and possibly with immigrants, of course, is also a possibility for the future. This is a rather complicated diagram, but I think you can understand. So the dot are men, okay, men, and the bar are women. So Portuguese, homem, is men, okay, and mulher is woman. Okay. So what happened to those from 2005 to those who have no education in terms of formal education? So they are declining. Even those who have only primary school, the first 4 years, declining. Even those who have the second cycle, 5th and 6th year, 6th grade, declining. And then between 2005 and 2014, those who have finished the third cycle, there was the compulsory education in Portugal some years ago, is the lower secondary school, 15-year-olds, okay? They are improving a little bit, improving those who finish the secondary school, and getting better those who have a higher education degree. Okay? This is the trend of our performance in education. When you look at the enrollment and the different cycles of the system, we have 100%. All of our kids are in primary school. Okay, no doubt about that. In second cycle, 90%. So we are talking about the academic year 13-14. 90%. The third cycle, that's lower secondary school, 86, say 90%, and then secondary school, 74%. What is interesting here is the trend again. We are getting better. We went to school. We realized that school was very, very important. So the best thing, and sometimes I feel really surprised, because when I was a child, I remember the grandmas and grandpas coming from the little village in the rural areas with their grandsons and daughters to the next city to study, while the father and mother of the kids were in France or were in the 20s were in Brazil. You know what I mean? They realized that to study was an important step to proceed, to get a better life, to get the right lift. And when we look at the large picture of the country, we realize that was not like that in many places. I'll tell you the story later on. Okay, where are they? Where are the students? When you look at the lower secondary, that means 12, 15 years old, they are in regular courses. We in Portugal have a strong opposition to the possibility of diversifying the courses, the pathways in lower secondary. It is supposed to be the same for everyone. Although we know not everybody can complete the program. Are you following me? Yes? Okay. In other countries, say in Austria, in Switzerland, or in Germany, they begin at this stage to say you go there to follow a professional course, and you go there, you become a doctor or whatever. So in Portugal it's very difficult. 92% there are only those who school is not able to deal with them, find a place in other alternatives. In secondary school, we are closer to the European pattern. We have about half of our students in secondary school are in regular courses to go to the university after that, and almost 50%. I have the numbers here. In the EU, European Union, 50. In 2012, we were 42. I think we are now 46 or something like that. Percent of our students that are in professional pathways, that are in other courses that are not considered as the regular courses to go to the university in the future. They are in professional courses, in artistic courses, in learning system linked with the firms, with the enterprises, the actual work, in other options that they have in secondary education. And this is very important when you try to keep them in school, because you cannot keep students in school when they have, in many times, a huge tension, cultural tension. That comes from their families, from their daily lives. They are in tension in school, and then you could keep them there. They don't want. You have to try to find out the best option to help them to learn and to gain the competences and the skills that are needed in the 21st century. So this is again, a very interesting curve. We are getting better all over the years in terms of the percentage of the population. 25-64, so it's quite a huge age range. The population age 25-64 having completely secondary education. Okay? The main message is the curve is going up. The result is being better and better. We are improving. Nevertheless, we are not so good yet. We have quite a lot to go. It's the same thing that comparing with our friends, you know, okay? We have improved. We are going better and better, but we didn't achieve at least the average of the European Union 28. We are in a not so good position in terms of the percentage of our population age 25 to 64 that finished secondary education. This is a very important indicator in all the education reports all over the world. Let's go a little bit back. What happens in our infant schools, in preschools? These are the lines for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. As you can see, maybe it was in 95, 97, there was a huge change in Portugal in terms of preschool. We changed, or there was quite a strong investment, and then we could say that we have almost 100% of the 5-year-olds in preschool. They are there, they are working there. We are getting better and better with the 4-year-olds, but the 3-year-olds are still far from the best figures. Okay? But again, improving, getting better. I'm introducing here another point. This is the variation of the scores at PISA, literacy, 2012. And what we see here that's interesting is that those kids that were in preschool more than 1 year, so that were there at least at 4, when they were 4 years old, okay, perform better. Although, there is another variable here telling us that there are other things to look at. Those kids that are from social, cultural, and economic background that's low perform much worse than those coming from good economic and cultural background. So we have here 2 important variables. The first one, if you go to preschool, we expect that you will perform better than those that don't go. And that is consistent in the 4 levels of economic, social, economic, and cultural background. Okay? As in the jump is not relevant. Also, the percentage of students when they are 15 that they declare that they have failed at least once in school. Okay? When they are 15, they go and they have the PISA test. And there is a questionnaire. And they ask them, have you repeated 1 year or more? Yes. Those who say, and they also ask, did you go to preschool? Okay? And those that didn't go to preschool, they repeat more than those that went to preschool at least 1 year. You understand what I mean? Yeah? So, we could say that to go to preschool can be a good predictor that you have less chances to fail during your academic studies. Gostei de lá. We were talking about failure, about repetition. Let's look at it. Failure is very much connected, and it's connected very, very frequently with the idea of early school living, of those who leave education and training with only lower secondary. So those who leave education without finishing secondary school. Because you remember, when I showed you the picture about the attainment at secondary school, we were improving, but we are low in the scale when compared to the European countries. Okay? If we don't finish secondary school, that means that we have high levels of early school leavers. That means that these levels have been very high. The figures are obviously complementary. So again, we are doing very good. We are the curve is declining heavily. I mean, in 2013, 2012, our friends from Spain would call us to say, how did you manage? How did you manage? Because our figures on stopping early school leavers are getting better and better. Nevertheless, when we compare our position with other countries, we are almost on top. We still have very bad results on that when we compare to other European countries. Yeah, that's it. Okay, this is a pattern in our education. Improving, I'm telling you that. This is a problem in our country. And those who have been teachers, I'm sure if you, for once, thought about being a teacher as being rigorous, as being demanding, as being... And then look at the results and say, does it work? The idea of getting them to repeat next year everything, is it worthwhile? So that's a big problem. We are improving in that as well. Avoiding retention as a measure to remediate failure. And not so consistently, because different governments have different approaches, of course, but our figures are coming down. Although we have secondary education, it's linked to the other two that I told you. Is linked to the other two. At secondary education, we still have 20% of students that fail, that are asked to repeat again and again the year. And at PISA, when they are 15, they are asked, about if they have been retained for at least 1 year. And the Portuguese are on the top. Which is interesting here is that our company is different from the others. And you look at the dropouts, for example. There was Malta and Romania. And if you look at this, you have Luxembourg and Belgium and France and Holland, okay? So, but which is interesting is that the Norwegian, they don't need to have repetition. Or even the United Kingdom, or Estonia, Finland, etc. So, retention, for those who read Portuguese, the National Council of Education produced an advice on retention with a very interesting technical report that you can read if you are interested in this topic. Retention is quite a big problem with the Portuguese system. Yeah. So it's the evolution in 3 years from PISA. This is from PISA results. I mean, in Luxembourg, they are getting down, but the Portuguese are still using retention as a... It's cultural, you know, it's cultural. In political terms, it's very difficult to... Nobody in society accept that, oh, they pass, even when they don't know. We have come about similar things. For example, when the school was open, there was a schooling boom in Portugal. So there was a shortage of teachers. So there were guys with secondary school that would teach maths and science in preparatory schools after primary. I was one of them. And the voice from the street would be something like, anyone can be a teacher. These are times that, you know, and now it's anyone can pass, even when they don't know. But is retention working? Can we help them in a different way to get better results and to learn? This is an interesting picture because it relates the score in PISA. So, it's in maths, the score in mathematics. Okay? High scores, low scores is this. Okay? And the economic and social and cultural status of the kids. Look where are those that fail. So that's fail, not fail. Not fail is the blue, and the red is fail. So those that fail, or that have failed at least once, are on this side. That means low socio-economic status. On this point, that means low scores in mathematics. So we know a lot about them. That's why if we know a lot, we can predict a little bit of the future. Only if we know a lot about it. This is an interesting thing as well. Look, in PISA results, the Portuguese, if we count only those students that have never failed, our results are as good as the best. But we have quite a distance between those who have failed and those who never failed. It's quite a distance between the two groups in their scores. In this case, scores in mathematics. But it's interesting to look at retention from different sides. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's not so easy to work on this. But the idea is to look at the costs by student in US dollars per year, by type of intervention and the actual benefits from the intervention. The point I want to make is that the most costly intervention is this one. And what's written here is to repeat 1 year. And apart from the fact that it doesn't work, it is extremely expensive. Could be also an argument. Say, why are you spending money in obliging the kids to come again to the same scene, to the next year, and then they will fail again, and then they go out? There are other possibilities here. Preschooling, parents, social and emotional orientation, extra teacher in the classroom, individual
tutoring.
Thank you. Tutoring, and so on and so forth. But my point was that because I want to link this to. Okay. I want to link that to this one. I think this is a very interesting and this is a very important study. This man called Ekman and Pedro Carneiro is a Portuguese guy. They were mostly in economics and the economics of education. And this is considered one of the pictures that is spread all over the world. Very well known. And I will not tell you about what I see here. But what I want to stress is on here. Because what they are telling us is that if you want to put money, you put money at the early years. You put money when the children are still in their mothers. Put money there. Use that money. It's the money that will give you the best return of investment. That's why. And the teachers have that idea. You all know, if you were a teacher for once, you all know that when they fail at 14, 15, and the teachers at the school say, lost. We cannot catch them. Too late. Too late. So we need to intervene here. As early as possible, in order to make sure that you get a return, that you avoid, and the system is very difficult. I have a personal experience on that. The system is very, very dark. It's not friendly. It's very difficult to get the right support as early as possible, and the school, because you know, I don't know in your countries, but in many countries, the school deals with the average. Even the teacher teaches to the average. I usually say that normally when we teach to the average, when we show them knowledge, and the average that day is absent. She's not there. So there was teaching for no one. And so we need to think about that, because in in the end, I will tell you one sentence about this area here. Is that I think that could be interesting to the adult satisfaction, could be interesting to particular individuals, but I really doubt that we have a real impact in education in a country as a whole if we invest here and not there. Okay, I had two more. Oh yeah, this was quite a huge discussion in Portugal some time ago, and that's the only reason why I brought this picture here. Look just at the cycles, the circles, and what you have is the number of the dimension of the class, okay, of the groups in schools. In the first cycle of basic education, second cycle of basic education, third cycle that is lower secondary school. And this means that most of the groups in schools have more or less, a little bit more, a little bit less than the expected numbers. And the average is that in the first cycle, 20 students per class. And the second cycle, 22. In the third cycle, 22. Of course, you could come and say, I know a case they have 30. Yeah, for sure. I'm talking about the average. Okay? But overall, that was the case. Of course, we could discuss the effect of the size of the group in the learning. That's another point. But the research available says that there are results for everyone. It suits everybody. Those who say that's very good, those who say that's no effect, those who say that some effect, but after 2 years the effect is lost. It suits everyone. And what I've just said is that if you look at PISA results, you have the yellow is in 2003 and the blue 2012. On the left you have the scores in maths and the horizontal X is the number of students. So Portugal is here. In 2003, the score was here, and that is here. So no really effect. The score went up, and the number of students was about the same. So, but that's a common pattern to the other countries as well. Okay. Yeah. We were talking about the economic and social and cultural level of the families, and it could be read like this. When you measure success in relation to the mother's education level, it's very clear, isn't it? If you are a mother and you have a high education degree, it's most likely that your kids will have a better success, will succeed better than the others, from mothers that have just the basic, the primary school, for example. This is about the same in a different way. We have in Portugal high levels of students in schools that have social support from the educational system. Okay? When I say high levels, it could be up to 40%. quite a lot. Each school, almost half of the school, have some sort of support. Those are scale A, are those that need more support, social support for the families. Those in the middle and those no support at all. And when you look at the performance of those kids, it's also clear that this year have a better performance than those who need social support. Here you have, this is the figures. These are the figures. It's from regions in Portugal, they're not important. But the continent, that 46% of the students that have social support in the third cycle of basic education, that's lower secondary school. But in some areas you have more than 50%. In Oporto, for example, 50%. Okay, a little bit on assessment. Again, the pattern from the beginning, improving, getting better in the different PISA examinations. And from 2000 to 2012, we have improved. We have, here in science, slight decreasing of our score, but I don't think it's a really relevant difference. But we are improving. We are expecting the results in December, I believe, for the PISA 2016, the next one. This is the comparison between the different OECD countries. And the pattern again repeats. We improve, but we are still in a position that's not very, very, very good. But around us we have Norway or Italy or Spain, worse than us. Okay? Although we cannot compete, not yet, with this group here. This is a common idea of my presentation here to you, is that the Portuguese educational system has performed very well in the last 10 or 20 years, but has not catch up with the countries that we would like to compare with. A little bit on teachers, because some of you are doing a PhD on teacher education, isn't it? Let's see what I can say here. But this is not really important to you, but I decided to bring it to you. It's a problem in Portugal. And is that our teachers are getting old. You know, I remember a friend from this institute that once I met him and he told me something like, "Oh, yeah, the institute has a brilliant future, you know. I am the youngster in the institute," and he was about to retire. So the future was not so bright. Now they have young professors here, but that's true. And the Portuguese system has changed. I will show you another change in a way that we have a surplus of teachers. We don't need the teachers that we are training in the university or in the schools of education. And with that demography that I showed you, it seems that we will not need them in the near future. Although there will be a retirement boom in maybe 5 or 10 years. So that's a problem anyway. If you look at the figures, you see that most of them have more than 40, so 70% more than 40, but most of them more than 50. You'll see this is the age of the teachers is important. Of course it is, and it is the two sides of the coin. You know, on one hand, the young teachers bring innovation, bring risky approaches. On the other hand, the older teachers, stability, sensibility, experience, even wisdom. We have to combine this. Okay, a little bit of information here. Just information. That's already said. As you see, we have a surplus of teachers. Many teachers that we have trained in the university and polytechnics didn't get a job or didn't get a stable job in a school, or they might have to go from school to school every year. On the other hand, but I think this we cannot fight against this. This is life. The devaluation of the profession, in the way that when you remember in the villages, the professor, the teacher, and the priest were very, very important. In many of those villages, the teacher is no more there. Even the priest is not there. And so, teacher, many people are teachers. And it's normal that the profession is not so singular, so relevant, and it's not so attractive. Although the Portuguese teachers cannot say, I didn't bring these figures, but when compared to the GDP, the Portuguese teachers are not bad paid at all. Okay? At least at the middle of the career. The second half of the year. So look at only 2% of our youngsters, our 15-year-olds, said in the PISA questionnaire that they want to become a teacher. Only 2%. The average in OECD was 5%. To become a teacher, in Portugal, you have to have a master's degree. Even if you work in preschool teacher, primary school teacher, secondary school teacher, you have to get a master's degree from a university, from a polytechnic. So schools of education of polytechnic institutes and universities are the institutions that deliver the teacher education, the initial teacher education. If you want to become a secondary teacher, say in physics, you finish what we call a licenciatura, that means a bachelor's. Nowadays in Bologna language, is a bachelor's in physics, and then you enter to the master degree here at the Institute, for example, and you become a physics teacher. It is also supposed that you get approval in the teaching practice. That is a stage or a pedagogic practice in the school. It has changed quite a lot. It would bother you to explain the system to you. I think it will change again. how yeah, this is an important. How do you get a place in school? We have a national contest, a national competition, and we have a very good computer. I have to say this like that. Sorry. We have a very good computer, and then we select the teacher and the school where he or she will teach, using 3 numbers and 1 letter. Okay? First number, the classification of the academic studies. Second number of years of experience in schools as a teacher. Third number, how old are you? So, age. And the letter, male or female. So that's funny, that when the director of the school receives a new teacher, he knows nothing about him or her. Nothing at all. He or she could be just mad, and they don't know. But they will learn sooner than after. Okay? So, this is a strange thing, but this is the reality. We have a national competition, and the candidates all apply to that box. Now, the so-called platform, that's very modern, and then the computer that's very good will tell them, you go, they teach that. They don't know anything about it. And I feel really uncomfortable telling these things to people from abroad. The National Council of Education have released an advice about initial teacher education and access to the profession. And the idea, the main idea is to bring back the concept of professionalization, to recognize the important value of professional knowledge, going back to Schumann, everybody read for Schumann, and to reinforce the practice component and the connections between schools and universities. That the partnership between schools and universities being absolutely crucial. So the primary role of professional knowledge, the centrality of observation and teaching practice, and the relationship of this with knowledge and research, the importance of designing and planning guiding training program appropriate to professional induction. So we tried to introduce another year, a complete academic year, that's called induction year, to make sure that with appropriate supervision, the teacher gets in the job, on the job, gets the singularities of the job on the job. So this is the main points of our advice on initial teacher education. Again, strengthening the partnership between higher education institutions and schools, clarification of roles and responsibilities. We have a problem here because we lost this idea of the supervisors in schools. We lost these professionals that were well-trained, a long time ago, were well-trained, were very experienced people, that they really loved their work in that, and we need to look at that, look at their role, look at their status very carefully, because if we have an important practice component, we need to have good supervisors at school to orientate, to help, to support the work of the new teachers. And of course, I had to tell you about the pitfalls of our system of recruitment, because I don't think we are recruiting, we are selecting the best teachers. We are selecting the teachers that very good computer tell you. Why is that? I tell you, I will be very frank, because the council has published a study with these. It's very easy to explain. When you look at the situation, what you see that the main number that determines the allocation of the teacher to a school is the classification. So, if an institution wants to get students for a low price, give good marks, they'll get the job. And the institutions that try to be fair, their students will not get the job. So it can happen, and it happens, really, that you have institution. I give you an example. I give you an example from this very house, when it was a different institution, because you know the institute is part of Department of Education in the Faculty of Science at the University of Lisbon. What happened at that time? 10 years ago, sometimes the students would be at the University of Lisbon working, for example, or doing maths, okay, to become a teacher. And at the third year, at the final of the third year, they looked at their marks. This is not good. I have to change to another place. And they would change to another place. And after 2 years, when they finished the degree, they would get the mark to go to the school as a teacher. And their colleagues that were much better than them didn't get the mark that allowed them to go to become a teacher. Just changing the university or the institution where they were studying. So this tells you that the situation is not fair. And another way of looking at it is like this. The marks from secondary school are used to enter into university, okay? And the competition to enter into universities is based on the quality perceived by the people. You decide, I'm going to Oxford because I think that's very good. Why is it very good? Oh, my uncle said me that it was very good. Okay, it's a quality perceived, isn't it? Okay. So, these universities that are considered the best get the best students of secondary schools, isn't it? So why aren't they sending their teachers after graduation to the schools? Because their marks were lower than those institutions that get the worst students of secondary education. Was it clear?
Yes.
Was it? Institution A. Oh, that's very good. Let's go there. Okay? High competition. Those who get in are those who have better marks from secondary school. So, the better secondary school students. Okay? Institution B. Not so good as quality, perceived quality. Okay? Institution B. Not so good. Those who get in, they are not the best students in secondary school. Okay? But after graduation, because this institution B gives better marks, they get the job. And these that were the best, and they were studying in a better institution, they don't get the job. You know? No? Okay. And it's too much time for this. Sorry. is a stolen slide from a guy called Andreas Slasher. This is from OECD. He's an important person in OECD. And he was trying to show that better school autonomy, the combination of school autonomy with standard-based examinations and science performance, and school autonomy being defined as selecting their teachers, get better results. You know, what I say is that, what he's saying is that if you can choose your teachers, if you choose them by actual merits, if you have that autonomy, and if you have standard-based examinations, if you have standards well-defined that are used to the final exams, your scores in science are better. It's just to leave you with the idea, because in Portugal, schools don't choose their teachers. Schools get the teachers from that very intelligent computer. An important revolution in Portugal was not the 74 one, it was some years ago, an important change, a really important change in Portugal, was the clustering of schools and the closing down of schools. We don't have, we still have some, but not really much, the village school with 10 kids and 1 teacher. We don't have that. We closed down all those schools and we merged schools as units of management by the teachers. Okay? Our villages don't have people, don't have population to have such schools. So there was a huge change. The municipalities built up what they call scholar centers, school centers, with preschool, primary school, and the kids that still live in villages, they move by bus every single day. Yeah, of course.
It's not true.
And it's not true.
No. In IE-ULisboa, I have a school. It's in a small village, and we have 8 students in first school.
Okay.
They are.
So that's why you still have the school, because you have 80 students.
8.
8. Oh yeah, but I told that. No, sorry. But I told that we still have a few, but not many.
And we are waiting year after year that this school closes because there isn't a school.
But you wait or you wish?
We wait and wish.
Okay.
Both.
So I would like to understand that because it was important.
We are waiting now. We are wishing because we perceive that these children are not developing themselves.
I'd like to tell you first of all that I'm from Alentejo. Although I don't know, extensively the situation, but I know that I can change a little bit what you said because it is useful here. Is that we still have quite a lot of classrooms in primary school with more than 1 year inside. Teachers with 2, 3, or 4 years, the same teacher working with the group. So this is a problem. In that study about the groups, we discussed that with the actual figures, but I didn't want to bother you with that. But that's true, we still have those cases. But you know, why do we have that? Because we have, important for the people from other countries, we have a very centralized system in Portugal. It's traditionally very centralized. Everything is decided in Lisbon. You know? Everything. And municipalities tend to convince their people, and sometimes the parents, the families, are convinced that it's better to have that school there, with one teacher and then pupils. And the municipalities do everything they can to keep their school. But it's against the wind. I don't think, it's as you said, we are waiting, it will happen. It will happen. But the reason is a political reason. Normally is a political reason. Because politicians in those areas, I don't think I brought them. No, I had a map of the country to show you where the schools were. And we should say that our country is like this. You know? Our country could be like this, okay? Because the West is here, the people is here, the sea is here, okay? And the people is here, all the people. Maybe we go to the sea. So the villages are. No. Where about?
Here in the Beatles.
Ah, yes. Okay.
The teacher is in Brazil.
Central orientation.
Yes.
Very well. A little bit on higher education. I think we have to make a decision about what to do. This is an interesting higher education. Maybe I will skip the immigrants part. Okay. Who was interested in immigrants this year? Okay. But I will discuss that with you if you want. Okay. You go there and we discuss it if you like. I have the material, but I think it's too long, and people seem to be very tired now. I'm okay, but so this age, the age of the Portuguese, and the percentage of enrollment in higher education. So we have 26% of the 18-year-olds, 19%, 34% of the 19-year-olds, 39, 37. So this is the age that the percentage that are involved in higher education studies. So that means that we are getting better and better in terms of the European target, the Portuguese target within the European Union, which is 40% of the population. We'll bring that. This is interesting because what it shows to you, we have three parts in higher education. We have universities, polytechnics, and private universities or polytechnics. The private is the red one. So they have less students, less and less students. The polytechnic also losing students, and university starting to lose students. What does it mean? It means that secondary education is not, I'm going to use a prohibited word. Secondary education is not producing enough students to to enter in higher education. Why is that? Because now we have almost 50% of secondary education students in professional courses. And those didn't have, until recently, didn't have where to go to proceed in higher education. They have now the professional courses in the Polytechnic and then the access to Polytechnic and university. That's about to be changed. Maybe next year will be changed. But that's a huge problem. We have an installed capacity in higher education and we don't have enough youngsters to get in. How to do that? To create an opportunity for those who follow professional courses, one option. Second option, success in secondary school. Improve success. Avoid retention. Make them to help them to finish secondary school in a way that they can go to university. This is interesting because the bar, the different colors are the different degrees. Licenciatura, the bachelor's, okay? Integrated master, that's a master that there are no licenciatura in that course, so it's directly to the master, integrated master, master, PhD. So as you see, we have less declining the licenciatura, even the master, and more PhD students. But the total number coming down as we saw before. Yeah, this is the number of graduates. So the number of graduates, we have improved quite a lot, but the system is now a little bit blocked in the way that the secondary education system is not delivering as much successful students as the system can receive. The higher education system can receive. This is the target that I was talking about to you a few moments ago. As you see, we have improved. We have improved quite a lot. These are our bars for men and women. We have improved quite a lot, but we are still far from the target that we need, that is 40. But we are very confident that in 4 years we can reach the target in 4 years' time. The average. Of course, when we compare, for example, with Ireland, we are a little bit far away from that. But again, improving, getting better. This is interesting because it shows you the level of qualification of the teaching staff in higher education. And the important thing is that the majority of the lecturers in polytechnics and universities have now, as minimum qualification, a PhD. So we have made quite an effort to get to that point, although some of us failed in that goal, but that's an important change in our higher education system. This is not relevant. Again, the age of the lecturers also a problem. So I will skip this. I promise we can work on that later on. And I go to the end very briefly. This is not. I called it closing thoughts, but this is almost a summary of what I've said. Okay. So the singularity of our second cycle, the problem of an older and older population, and some relevant improvements or results. Better enrollment, better diversification in secondary education, better attainment in secondary education, better frequency rates in preschool, better early school leaving grades, better levels of retention, better results in international assessment programs, better numbers of higher education graduates, improving, but still far, improving, but still far, of the targets, still far from other EU countries. I need to carry on improving those indicators. Change the cycle structure. The National Council of Education have tried more than once to put the topic in the agenda, but it's very difficult in political terms. It's quite a huge change, but we believe that we need to change the cycle structure. One way to go for success is to ensure the social support to families, because we saw that social needs of the kids predict failure. Promote success and avoid retention. Identify learning difficulties as early as possible. Invest in preschool. Improve preschool living. I don't have time to that. Has anyone here from preschool? No? Yeah. We have a tradition, preschool tradition in process care. And the idea of teaching is, teaching. But the problem is, when we compare, for example, in PISA, the results of the Portuguese, do they benefit from being in preschool as much as the others? It seems they don't benefit as much as the other countries. Okay? So we need to look at what's going on inside. Are they trying to teach anything to them? Or just care? Do you understand what I mean? So, okay. So not only care, learning, select the best teachers, change criteria, improve the quality of teacher education, more students in higher education, the test, those who are coming from professional studies, and more success in secondary education, to have more students in higher education, improve professional courses in state schools. This is important. The professional courses in Portugal are mostly in private schools that are funded by the state, funded by EU funds, in a way, in most regions, not for example in Lisbon, funded by the state, but they are private schools. Some years ago, the state schools started to offer professional courses. But from my point of view, they lack the culture, they lack the experience. They lack the teachers prepared to do that. So we need to improve professional courses in state schools is if we have if we want to have them there, okay, we need to organize and to give them the resources and the training and the preparation to do that. Better links and partnerships between schools, higher education institutions, and society, having enterprise and so on and so forth. So, the unpredictable future. Yeah, not so much. It has changed, but has it changed that much? I don't know. Well, coming to an end, today I was listening for. I was listening. Sir John O'Reilly, that is a British researcher, and he finished his conference. This was today in the morning. He finished his conference with that quotation that I realized that was attributed to Wilson Misner, that's from the 19th century or something like that, and also some attributed to John Burke. If you steal from one author, it's plagiarism. If you steal from many, it's research. So I believe that what I've presented to you is also research, as Professor John O'Reilly said this morning. I owe a few credits. That's why I introduced this slide at the last minute. It is to the institutions that provide data to our studies, to the studies by the National Council of Education, and to the excellent staff that I have at the Council that prepare most of the data and deal with the great part of the data. Thank you.